Is Metallicus the secret to crypto mass adoption? From human-readable names on the XPR network to massive scalability of Metal blockchain, the Metallicus ecosystem is changing how we move money. The future of banking is built on-chain. In this video, we're looking at Metallicus, the company creating a regulated digital asset banking network. I'll explain the difference between the XPR network, a layer 1 built for instant payments, and Metal blockchain, the foundational layer 0 protocol built for institutional compliance and FedNow integration. If you want to understand how blockchain is finally becoming bank friendly, you won't want to miss this video. If you're interested in keeping your crypto safe, down in the description you'll find an incredible discount. And in fact, it's the year's biggest discount. This is your last chance to get an awesome price on an awesome wallet. President Donald Trump last year made statements that reflect a significant shift in U.S. financial policy, moving away from traditional banking structures towards a decentralized on-chain future. The administration is operating under the belief that the traditional financial system is bottlenecked by slow processing times, high fees, and central oversight that really limits American innovation. Now, to support this vision, the administration has taken several concrete steps to integrate blockchain into the core of the U.S. economy. And one company that is going to make a serious impact is Metallicus and what they're building with Metal blockchain and the XPR network.
Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology.
President Donald Trump has argued that the current financial system has really reached its limits, referring to the inefficiencies of the legacy banking system. The goal is to move assets, including U.S. dollars, stocks, real estate, and more, onto the blockchain as tokenization. Now, the Genius Act, which was passed in July of 2025, is a primary bill that Trump has championed. Its goal is to allow the U.S. dollar to operate natively on blockchain networks. It allows traditional banks and credit unions to issue their own stablecoins, effectively turning them into digital currency providers. Now, one of Metallicus' strong points currently is credit unions. They are quietly leading and revolutionizing the whole credit union space and innovating it with blockchain technology. It doesn't stop there. What they are building will evolve and bridge the gap between not only credit unions but also banks and other financial institutions with on-chain identity, utilizing Metal blockchain's layer 0 infrastructure, connecting all these financial institutions through subnets. We also have the Clarity Act, soon to be passed into law by the Senate, hopefully sometime this year. The Clarity Act will be a massive catalyst for mass adoption and clear rules for this technology to be used. One idea under the Clarity Act that was just brought up in recent negotiations allows banks and exchanges to offer digital rewards paid out in stablecoins. Last year in September, Marshall Hayner made this statement: Metal will bring the first $1 trillion of stablecoins on-chain. This isn't speculation, this is reality. When every credit union, bank, and financial institution has their own stablecoin and private chain, they will connect seamlessly, defining the new financial rails. Congressman Byron Donalds, a Republican of Florida, has a documented professional relationship with Metallicus and Marshall Hayner. Metallicus has hosted the congressman in live streams as part of an effort to engage policymakers. He's a member of the House Financial Service Committee and a vocal advocate of the digital asset industry, which really helps to get Metallicus recognized with the digital banking network and their banking innovation program.
Technology is taking us to a place where it's far more functional. You could do so many other things. It's far more interactive. It's far more user-friendly, and it actually speaks to the experience that people are choosing to operate in. And no difference with how you choose to do calculations or how you choose to exchange, whether it's a currency, a stable coin, a cryptocurrency, etc. It's really the medium of holding value and or exchange that people choose to engage in. And obviously with where people are going, not just in the United States, but in the world, stable coins and crypto and blockchain technology are not going away. They are the modes of storing value and or transacting into the future. And so it would behoove us in Congress to make sure that we have a framework that allows for the proliferation of what human beings, especially Americans, choose to want to invest in and want to do going forward.
So, Congressman, I'm going to start with you. Just give us a really quick tidbit. Why does crypto resonate with you? I know you really have been a proponent for crypto in your position. Talk to me a little bit about why it resonates with you.
For me, it's really one overarching reason and a bunch of underlying ones. First is that it's really a holder, and what it can be is a holder of value outside of the dollar, and also outside of some of your traditional metals, whether that be gold, silver, or other types of commodities. And I think that in the digital landscape, which is not going anywhere, it's only going to continue to grow, become far more dynamic and interwoven in the lives of Americans, giving people the ability to be able to maintain some semblance of value for the money that they earn from the fruits of their labor, their ingenuity, et cetera. That to me is just common sense policy for everybody. I think as a backdrop to that, I have a lot of concerns about how the Federal Reserve has diluted purchasing power for Americans. It's something that has put our reserve currency status at risk. A lot of other issues stem from that, and that's really a protection hedge for a lot of people. The third thing is that what we're seeing in this new industry of digital assets, of course, of which cryptocurrency is a part, there are a lot of fledgling entrepreneurs from all walks of life. And some people call it the new gold rush, like we're creating a bunch of new 49ers out here in this space. But you have to give that industry an opportunity to thrive and to flourish, to see what it truly can be, what it can, what heights can it reach, what type of efficiencies it brings to markets, whether that's just purely financial or technology markets or the economy overall. And I think that it would be imprudent for government regulation to impede that growth simply because members of Congress and staffers on Capitol Hill don't know what it is, or B, they want to treat it as a boogeyman for more of the current regulatory regime, which is so centered on consumer protections that it stifles innovation and it stifles the free flowing of capital.
Marshall, I'm going to kick it off to you now. I know that you come from a little bit more of a crypto native background. One of the people who was an early Doge supporter, I believe. Talk to me a little bit about why crypto resonates with you.
Yeah, first and foremost, I'm a patriot. I'm an American. I believe in freedom of speech and the Constitution, and I believe access to to your money is part of that. Cryptocurrency for me was so exciting because it was kind of discovering the internet of money. It's a new technology. It doesn't have to be constrained to just Bitcoin or one digital asset. It's a technology. And one of the things that I frequently say is that cryptocurrency in particular and Bitcoin act as a litmus test to freedom. So when you look at other countries that ban this technology, that limit this technology, they tend to be authoritarian regimes that don't want to allow people to really own their own money. And so that is something that was very exciting for me. But more so, I grew up as a child of the internet. And when I discovered Bitcoin in late 2009, I struggled with the idea of how does this work with the financial system? And it took me a few weeks to understand that it's just a transparent public ledger of accounting that's unalterable. And that was so exciting because I realized in that moment, this is going to replace all of the modern systems. Everything is going to connect to that transparent, unalterable ledger. And we'll have different types of systems. We'll have certainly different types of digital assets. Dogecoin for me, why I got involved in Dogecoin was because believe it or not, after a few years of the cryptocurrency space expanding, people got too serious, in my opinion, about Bitcoin, and they kind of scared some of the outsiders in that we couldn't have fun with this technology. So Dogecoin emerged as a joke that I think brought a lot of young people into it. And they are, from a technology standpoint, the same code base, Bitcoin and Dogecoin. So I think it was just an exciting thing for me. But expanding there and building my company with Metallicus, our goal at Metallicus is building the digital banking network, or so we call it. And we want to connect traditional finance to Web3 through the blockchain in a compliant manner and innovate responsibly. I believe that this technology will completely revolutionize the world.
Congressman, let's kick it off with you. What is Congress's role in fostering innovation and creating supportive regulatory environment for blockchain adoption in the financial services space?
Yeah, well, Jill, first of all, very good to be with you. You got two great leaders here, Marshall and John, as well as Will, who are practitioners of this every day. And let us first say, I think Congress's first role should be listening to our private sector partners who have been in the field, who have been practitioners of this, so we can start to provide like a real strong safety rails on what an environment can look like. One that is not regulatory overburdensome, but one that provides clear lanes so that blockchain can be successful right here in the United States. Now, I serve on two committees. The first is financial services. That gives us everything, particularly where some of the leaders are here in advanced blockchain technology, also our digital currencies and assets, and overview of the SEC and Treasury, and their work to do it from the executive side. The second committee I serve on is the Ag Committee, where we've got this group called the CFTC, really looking at the commodities digital asset space. This is a place to think of where new technology and innovation can use blockchain, particularly when it comes to things like cryptocurrencies. And I'll say the third committee I'm working on is on this China Commission. I think one of the things we should all be looking at is where are our near-peer competitors. And when it comes to blockchain, this is an area where the United States is not operating solely. We have some real competition coming out of Beijing. And I want to make sure that this doesn't follow the same runway that we saw with telecommunications. Look, I served for 20 years as a counterintelligence officer in those three-letter agencies, and we saw what Huawei and ZTE did to try and get into telcos and that infrastructure early on. This is the next big battle between Beijing and DC. Who's going to have a best format for people to be able to jump onto blockchain technology? Because the true rare, or I'll say most lucrative entity in the coming days is going to be who owns the data and who's got access to that data in a way that it can not only be encrypted, but maintained and utilized. And I think blockchain gives us a great opportunity here in the United States to work with not only other allies around the area, but become a dominant force in this to maintain competitive advantage on who's got access, can manage this data, and will be able to be a dominant force for good in the digital space.
As of early 2026, Metallicus has established a network that includes over 750 credit unions. The company's footprint in the credit union sector grew exponentially through a mix of direct partnerships, the acquisition of specialized fintech firms, and strategic alliances with major regional trade associations. In 2024, Metallicus acquired Bonify, a credit union service organization. This move immediately brought 70-plus credit unions into the Metallicus ecosystem, providing them access to the Metal blockchain. We also have Cornerstone League. In October of 2025, just a few months ago, Metallicus partnered with this league, which represents more than 600 credit unions across 5 states. We also have the MDDC Credit Union Association. This partnership opened up the Banking Innovation Program to its member credit unions at no cost. They're also partnered with Go West Solutions. This further expanded access to credit unions across the western United States. Now, for all those that are just learning about Metallicus, Metal blockchain, and the XPR network, allow me to put into words just how massive and overlooked Metallicus really is. Now, you may know that they are connected to FedNow, but it's deeper than most people know. Metallicus is a certified FedNow service provider. So what this means is they're not just a user of the system, they are certified to provide technical on-ramp for other banks and financial institutions to connect to FedNow. Now, Metal blockchain is a layer 0 fork of Avalanche. Its infrastructure is designed to serve as a foundation for an entire ecosystem of interconnected blockchains. Think of it as the central nervous system that connects different specialized networks, allowing them to communicate and share securely. The problem with layer 1 blockchains is that it leaves them siloed and not interconnected to other layer 1s. This is where Metal blockchain layer 0 comes into play. It not only allows other layer 1s to interconnect, but also securely without the need for oracles, which can be a security issue. A layer 0 is the underlying infrastructure that allows multiple layer 1 blockchains like Ethereum, Stellar, the XRP ledger, to name a few, to be built on top of it. Metal uses a Snowman consensus protocol to provide high speed and near instant finality and interoperability. It allows other layer 1s to communicate without risky bridges. Metal layer 0 doesn't replace layer 1s, it upgrades them by giving them a secure shared environment. The concept, for example, a developer could launch a Stellar or XRP ledger sidechain on Metal. This subnet or these subnets would use Metal's high-speed consensus, but keep the specific features of the original chain, like Stellar's asset issuance or the XRP ledger's escrow features. There's also bridgeless interoperability. Unlike traditional bridges that are prone to hacks, subnets on Metal communicate through the P chain. This allows an asset from the XRP ledger subnet to be sent directly to the XPR network or Ethereum C chain subnet instantly and securely, for example. Now, in order for everyday average people to use this technology, they have to feel comfortable with sending, receiving, and holding crypto assets. One of the biggest reasons other layer 1s should move to Metal. Currently, for example, if you use XRP, XLM, or XDC, you often need 3 different wallets and complex setups just to hold. And when you transact, you're sending to an address that, it's just not easy to read it. It's a bunch of letters and numbers. Where WebAuth, they actually have human-readable names that you can send and receive crypto from. It makes it so much easier for everyday average use. If these chains are integrated into Metal, for example, you can manage all of them using your username via the WebAuth wallet. You could send Metal XLM or Metal XRP or Metal XDC to a friend just by typing their name, using Face ID to authorize a transaction. While the Metal blockchain's layer 0 focuses on infrastructure and connecting chains, the XPR network is a specialized layer 1 blockchain designed for people and everyday finance. Now, it highlights human-readable names, which makes it practical for everyday use. Also, 0 gas fees makes it the ideal network for everyday transactions for everyday people. Also, it caters to on-chain identity, and its speed is second to none. There is no other chain that's faster than the XPR network. In technical terms, the XPR network is actually a subnet, specifically called the A chain or Antelope chain, running on top of the Metal blockchain. Now, to give everybody an idea of how the Metallicus products work together. So you have Metal Pay, that's where you can purchase your cryptocurrency and get your USD into the system. Then you have the XPR network, is where you send, receive, and identify yourself. You also have Loan Protocol, which is built on the XPR network. That's where you can earn interest, borrow, and lend. You also have Metal Blockchain is the foundation, the groundwork that keeps it all decentralized, scalable, and connected securely to the rest of the crypto world. Now, XPR has been performing exceptionally well compared to the rest of the market. It's up nearly 23% for the week, but still completely undervalued. Metal Blockchain, which is criminally undervalued, only a $30 million market cap, has been performing exceptionally well compared to the rest of the market also. It's up nearly 17% for the week, and the coin is just under 20 cents.
These energy prices are getting out of hand and cutting into my Bitcoin mining profits. It's time to do something now. I'm gonna call my good friend Brian with True Power.
Hi, is this Brian? I'm so glad I got a hold of you. I remember you saying I have options to get my energy costs under control. Tell me more. Wow, I can get a free audit report to check for hidden errors resulting in overcharges. Another option is to make sure I'm paying the lowest rate possible, and I can choose between a low fixed or variable rate.
Yes, it's true. You do have options. Even if you live in a regulated state, it's time to get a free consultation on ways to reduce your energy cost, like a free audit. For example, 80% of the time, there's hidden errors which would entitle you to a refund. Let's also make sure you're paying the lowest rate possible. You're never billed for my service. I'll explain everything and answer any questions you have. Contact me. My information is in the description.